Aries. Welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for January of 2022. We are the astrologers of Pandora Astrology. I'm Jamie Kale Miller. I'm in Berkeley, California.
And I'm Julia Mijas in San Francisco.
Well, it's a whole new year. And for you, Aries, there's a gathering of planets in your 10th and 11th houses, which absolutely brings your attention to the realm of career. And also your list, your contacts, the people that you know through your career or who follow you on social media. A mission orders reading, and you can find a link for this in the YouTube description below, is exactly what you need if you have questions about these areas. Well, Ceres is retrograde, and I want to show you this because it's been going on actually for a couple of months, but it's about to finish, and I think that's going to give us a lot of relief, especially in the realm of finances. Back in October, Ceres went retrograde in Gemini, and Ceres doesn't like being in Gemini, and so I think it triggered a lot of a tendency for people to just worry and overthink their finances, and also perhaps start to worry a lot about the state of our bodies, our health, and our eating, and perhaps overthink and worry too much about that stuff as well. Now, there was a peak of this, which I like to call Financial Crisis Day, which is when Ceres in its retrogradation was opposite the sun. And that was on November 26th. And Julia, I think you said that there was a bit of a financial crash that day in the stock market.
Big, yeah, it dropped hundreds of points.
Yeah, so I think that is very connected with Ceres retrograde opposed the sun. I do like to call it Financial Crisis Day. And it's a day when all the worries just kind of come to a peak. And, chances are that people could even some behavior that comes straight from that worry. So we're now in January. The process is moving along. Ceres has retrograded back into Taurus, where it's much, much happier, much more comfortable. And this is about how we need to return to basics. We need to return to your body and ask your body, what should I be eating? How should I be running my habits? What feels right to my body? And go back to your finances and ask yourself, how can I return to basics, return to fundamentals regarding how I run my money? You can find out more about this in the video that we've made about it on our January 2021 news playlist on our YouTube channel, Pandora Astrology. You'll also find it on our forecast page. So, Julia, I think you have some news for the areas of the world about Mercury, Mars, and Venus. What's that?
I do. Oh, hey there, Aries. Our friend Mercury, the planet of communication and mentation, goes into your 11th house at the very beginning of the month on January 2nd. So the 11th house, it's a pretty social house, and Mercury is a pretty social planet. The 11th house rules your friends, and it also rules any groups you're a part of. So that could be anything from a union to a society to a club to a gamer circle or a sports team. So when Mercury moves into the 11th house, the social tempo of your life might pick up, and you might notice you're getting more phone calls, more texts, more emails from people that you know, more social activity in the groups that you're a part of. And the 11th house also rules your long-term goals in life. It's the house of hopes, wishes, and dreams. So you could be spending a lot of this cycle thinking about your long-term goals and how to achieve them. Then on the 14th, Mercury goes retrograde, meaning that it's going to be bringing its miscommunications to this area of your life. So after the 14th, you might run into miscommunications with your friends, with your buddies. So be prepared to have to go back and straighten things out, or also miscommunications in the groups that you're a part of too. Then Mars, the planet of action and activity, starts the month in your 9th house of travel, legal affairs, and school. So if you're in school right now, this could be a time where you're feeling really, really motivated to learn, and you could get a lot of good work done on your own. But Mars can be a little bit of a tempestuous planet. So you could also run into flare-ups at school, maybe with your teacher too. Since this is also the legal house of legal affairs, this can be a little tricky time if you're working working with any legal problems in your life too. But Mars in the ninth can be really great for going on an adventure, seeing something new, traveling, because this house rules expansion of all kinds. Then on the 24th, Mars is going in your 10th house of career, where it's going to be bringing its drive and ambition to the career sector of your life. Generally, it can be a good time to get, again, a lot of good work done, especially at your job, but it can also be a time of conflict with authority figures too, who are also represented by the 10th house. Now, Venus, the planet of relationships, is in your 10th house, and she already starts the month retrograde. I went into a lot of depth about what this retrograde cycle would feel like for you, so you should check out the Aries video from last month's too to hear a little bit more about that. But Venus in the 10th, especially when she's retrograde, is a time of relationship review, especially with how this relationship helps you on a career level or even helps your public reputation. And Jamie, I think you've got some stuff for us on Juno, right?
I do. And most particularly, what I want to show you guys is that the Sun here and Juno, that's Juno right there, are going to meet up this month in what I like to call Commitment Rapture Day. And that's pretty nice. And it's kind of funny, I don't know, almost ironic that Venus retrograde is making us question the good feelings in our relationships, the bond that the relationships are about, the feeling of connection. So love is in trouble this month with Venus retrograde, but Juno conjunct Sun, and it's happening very close to Venus. They're all in Capricorn in your 10th house, says that commitment is doing really well. Now, all of this landing in your 10th house of career says that this month you'll be questioning your some of the connections that you made with colleagues or through your work, and some of the warmth of those connections. But at the same time, you'll be readier to commit more deeply to the connections that are good and that are ready to take that next step. So that's a really interesting combination of factors. So going back to the beginning part of the month, I want to show you the moons that are happening. First of all, we have a new moon in Capricorn right here in the 10th house. And we're calling this moon When Toughing It Out Doesn't Work Anymore. And that's because with the major pileup in Capricorn and the sun and the moon meeting there, this is a moon, that kind of speaks of the idea of burnout or exhaustion, especially because of the way that it squares Chiron. And you can find out more about this in our January 2021 news playlist on our YouTube channel, Pandora Astrology, where we speak about both of the moons of this month. But this one just kind of seems to be saying, wow, I've been efforting, and now I've just kind of started to hurt. And so you may reach, kind of the bitter end of what you can do. And new moon speaks to rebirth. So let your work practices be reborn into something that's more sustainable. And then this is followed by the second moon of the month, which is a full moon. And quite often the full moon will play out themes that began during the new moon. Here you can see that the full moon is in Cancer. It falls in your 4th house. The sun, with the rest of these planets, still occupying your 10th house of career. The 4th house is about home and family, domestic life, heritage, and roots. The moon there says it's time to get cozy. It's time to sink into and relax. So the name of this moon is Relax and Allow the Break You've Been Working Toward. So at this point, if you haven't taken a load off and stopped being so workaholic, yeah, good luck with that, right? And just trying to power through stuff until it hurts, this is the time for you to absolutely, finally allow yourself to have a real break. So then the last thing I want to tell you about is around the 19th, the sun is going to move into Aquarius, which is your 11th house, a very, very social realm, as Julia was saying, with Mercury retrograde there. Wherever the sun goes is a really good place to shine the spotlight of your high quality attention, because attention is what makes things grow. It's like sunlight. And the 11th house signifies the groups of people that you belong to and that you feel contextualized by. And that might mean your Rolodex at work. It might mean your, channels of social media. It might mean, that women's group or that men's group that you attend. It might be, your recovery group. It doesn't really matter what it is, but this is the time to shine the light of your good attention on those groups and allow things to grow in those places. Well, that's all we have for you today, Aries. Hope you enjoyed it. You will find your horoscopes on our website, pandoraastrology.com, in the horoscope tab. In the monthly forecast, you'll find more news about the various things that we have described, the moons, Ceres, Venus and Juno. And until next time, we'll see you around the cosmos. Bye-bye.
Bye.